Harry, right? And his mama was in a prison, like minimum security though. And so the warden let her break the rules a little bit because she was pregnant when she went in there, and she got to keep her boy with her in prison, right? Which most people do not get to do. So it's kind of this fantasy story, right? About what if a kid lived in prison with his mom? How would that life be? But apparently they all behave themselves really well around kids. So that is good. All right, and we found out she's almost up for parole, which means she would get out and be able to live a normal life and just have to, check in from time to time and make sure that she's doing okay with people, right? So that's what she's excited about, the possibility. And he is going back to school. Chapter 4, welcome. The middle school is 3 times the size of the elementary Zoe and I went to. Miss Maya brought me to the open house last week. The hallways were jammed with kids and their parents, but Mom pointed out that the school building is much smaller than the Blue River campus. I started finding my way around the place as soon as I could walk. I figured I wouldn't get too lost in school. It's a good thought to be having as Miss Maya turns into the parking lot. The schoolyard is already busy, even though she brought me here, teacher, early. I see a lot of new faces. We stand under the clock in the foyer being like the entryway. Miss Maya shifts her toe to her shoulders. I tuck my thumbs under the straps of my pack. Okay, Perry, I'm off to my classroom, she says. You have plenty of time before you have to be in yours. You remember where you're going, right? Room 208, second floor. Okay, I'll see you for language arts in my room this afternoon. And here in the lobby at the end of the day. Actually, I bet we'll cross paths a few times. I'll wave to you, she says. She turns and all her ropey rows of hair swing and follow her like a curtain. I'll wave back, I say. I turn around and there's Zoe Samuels. Her hair, excuse me, not your chit-chat time, boys and girls. Her hair is pale and her skin is tanned. She was away all summer. Perry, she says. Hey, Perry, come on, I want to show you something. I follow Zoe up the wide stairs to the second floor. Hello, hope you had a nice summer. I use an under mumble like Big Ted's. It's when you don't expect an answer. We reach the landing. Zoe stops and turns. She points to a set of high windows where there's a whole lot of morning light is streaming in. Sun, I say. It was supposed to rain all day. I'm thinking about the report I gave during the all-rise. That's why I rushed you up here. Check it out. Zoe is pointing upward. Someone has stuck colored cellophane letters all over the windows. Welcome. Zoe shuffles backwards and presents the floor to me with both hands. Look. The colors from the windows are being sun cast on the floor at the feet. Okay, so what's happened is you need to go sit down. They have windows up high in the school building, and somebody stuck these colorful letters on there spelling out welcome. And then what's happened is the sun is shining, and it's also then making shadows of those letters on the floor. Although technically that would be backwards then, right? No. Anyway, but some of the letters would look kind of backwards. But yeah, so shadows of the letters are on the floor, all colorful because they're kind of see-through colors. Yep, welcome is spelled upside down and backwards. Zoe sticks her leg out, and a purple M covers her over her shin. Is this cool or what? It's cool, I say. I start to haul my pack off my shoulders. I should get a picture of the welcome message from my mom. The landing darkens. Welcome disappears. Zoe and I look up at the windows. Large spatters hit the panes. Ah, rats, she says. Well, maybe the weather will clear up later this week. You could get the shot then. She tags my shoulder. So listen, I found out we don't get seated alphabetically. She's saying this like it's the best news in the world. Even though you are C for Cook and I'm S for Samuels, we can sit together. But we better get in there before it fills up. Come on. Zoe is quick. Weaving, Jimmy, put your mask on. Weaving around kids in the hall. You're stomping on your story. I'm caught in the bottleneck, but I can see between her shoulders. She lands her backpack on top of one desk and sits down another one right beside it. Claims two with one below. When I finally get to her, she pulls out the chair with her foot and waves me into it. Zoe Samuels is always on a mission. Chapter 5. A Tale of Surprise. Zoe Samuels was mad when she moved here. Mad about their parents' divorce and mad that her stepdad was trying too hard with her and coming off like a big fake. She was mad about the house she had to leave and mad about having to start a new school in the middle of the year. She was mad about it that it was snowing. I never would have found all that out if it hadn't been for Big Ed. Zoe sat by herself at lunch. That's pretty much what I did too. Not because I don't like people. I do. But a lot of things changed right around 4th grade. Kids started to talk about karate and music lessons, soccer teams, and playing for the ice hockey club in David City. Those were all the things I couldn't do. 4th grade is also when the trouble with Brian Morris began. Okay, we need to be quiet, please. I can't speak over all of you. It was all because of the 1 mile run. That's the first year they timed us in gym class. Brian didn't like the way it turned out. He's one of those kids who other kids magically follow. So if you get in trouble with him, it sticks on you. Brian is also the boy who started calling Zoe Samuels Mad Zoe. That stuck to her. I watched Zoe sitting alone for a few days. Then I went over and stood beside her with my lunch tray in my hands and said, "Welcome to Butler County. I'm Perry Cook. I live in Surprise. It's a tiny place." "Isn't everything tiny?" she said. "Well, it's a tiny place and it has a funny name. I'm guessing you're not from around here." "Not at all," she said. She rocked her head and rolled her eyes. She probably wanted me to go away. "Do you know why they call it Surprise?" I asked. Zoe Samuels looked right at me. Her mouth twisted to the side. She pointed to the seat across the table, so I sat down. "Okay, tell me. Why is it called Surprise?" I could have told her the real story. I had written a report about it in 3rd grade, but I like Big Ed's story better. "It's because of the snow," I said. We both looked out the cafeteria windows at the January whiteness. But the snow is not a surprise. It's what you find when the snow is gone. All the stuff you never knew you lost, like a mitten that you dropped or a dollar bill or a letter that you meant to mail. You look down on the ground and things are flattened, Zoe said. She smacked her palms together, stuck to the driveway, or frozen to a rock under a bush. She said, "And so you should give yourself the dollar bill because you're the one who found it. And you should open the letter and pretend it's from you to you. Because it's been so long you have forgotten what you wrote it when you read it." "Surprise," I said. Zoe Samuels cracked up.
That it didn't change?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you. Zoe Samuels cracked up. She's been my best friend ever since, and I've never been to her house, and she can't come home with me after school. But Zoe knows exactly where I live. She knows why, too. She's never said a bad thing about it. Chapter 6. These chapters are really short. Chapter 6. Swipe. It's lunchtime in the new school. My meal card won't swipe. The cashier tries it again and again. Her name pin says Miss Jenrick. She's not very old. In fact, she looks like she should be down the block at the high school. She has pink spiky hair and long earrings with feathers at the ends. She's wearing rings on every finger. Each time my card fails, she shakes her head and something on her jingles. "Did you activate this?" she asks. She gives my card a hard look. "Yes," I say. "Did it go through the washing machine?" "Not yet," I tell her. Zoe's right behind me. She laughs. Miss Jenrick laughs too. She squints at the display of the machine and wiggles all her rings at it. I don't know why this thing is asking me for a code. she mumbles. I'm new on the job, but I haven't seen this all day. She punched a few buttons. She tries the card again. The line is backing up behind us. I tell Zoe, you should have gone first. You could be eating by now. Zoe leans around me to speak to the cashier. Hey, what if I swipe my card twice just for today? It's not going to let us do that, jingle, jingle. The line is pressing on Zoe now. I'm pretty sure the edge of someone's lunch tray is in her back. She plants her feet like she's holding her ground. What gives? Someone asks from the back of the line. I look and see a tall boy with his empty tray clamped in one hand. He points to himself with the other hand. Starving here. Well, look who's holding things up. I know that voice. It's Brian Morris, and he's leaning out of the line to sneer at me. Not so fast today, are you? He says, as if I ever sprint through a lunch line. Miss Jenner asked me, did you pick up this card here in the school office? I lean forward and tell her, it was mailed to me from the state. The state, oh, this is an assistance card. She seems to get louder with each word. You're on assistance, that's why it wants a code. Zoe lets a puff through her lips and shakes her head. Brian Morris makes a duck call with his hands from behind us. It's Parrot Cookie Squawks. Escape from surprise. Miss Jenrick's head snaps up when she hears that. Her face turns 5 shades of red beneath her pink hair. I'm sorry, she says, very quiet now. My fault, totally my fault. She puts in a code. My card goes through. Zoe and I sit across from each other at the end of a very long table. We both lean into the cranny when the table folds out from the wall. Zoe has given her hot macaroni a cold stare. She's mad about the card. I'm thinking that the harder one a lunch is, the more I want to eat it. I'm also thinking that I won't have a card from the state. When Mom is paroled, my card will be like everyone else's. She didn't mean it, I tell Zoe. I pick up a fork full of noodles. She was loud, Perry, megaphone loud, right? And how did that make him feel? He was embarrassed, and she was really mad for him because it's nobody's business, right? And it made, anyway, so that's what they're feeling right now. But she was just glad she figured it out. Tomorrow will be a breeze. She could have done it better, Zoe said, way better. Hey, Zoe, I said, where'd you get that ring? Trying to change the subject, she twirls the ring as she speaks. Yeah, I say. I can't hide much from Zoe. Stepdad Tom gave it to me, she said. He bought it in the gift shop at the bed and breakfast we stayed at this summer. Cool, I said. I suppose, she said. But it's like I've told you before. He gets me things I don't really want or need. Like the camera, she said, letting up a little. I'm glad he got you the camera, I say with a shrug and a grin. It's not just the gifts from Tom. It's that he has to talk about why he gave them. The ring is to celebrate the vacation we took as a family. Zoe grumbles. She starts to imitate Tom. Isn't it great how far we've come, Zoe? You and your mom and I, we've made ourselves into a family. And then there he is in the morning asking, are you going to wear your new ring to school today, Zoe? Huh? I felt bad because I didn't think about putting on the ring this morning, Perry, but I pretended that I did, mostly to make my mom happy. I met Zoe's mom a couple times just to say hello at the window of her car in the school parking lot, but I've never met stepdad Tom. I don't always understand exactly how Zoe feels about him, but I know that he is her biggest thing to need to talk about. It's been 2 years, Perry, Zoe goes on. He still does it. He still talks about how great we're doing. You want to know what? She's going to tell me. The best times are when he says normal things like, please pass the rice. That's when I feel like we're a family. I nod my head. I think I get the part about Tom trying too hard. Zoe says, it's a very cool ring, though. She props her elbow on the table and tilts her fist towards me. Put your face up to the stone, Perry. Don't put your chest in the macaroni, she warns. Get real close. See your reflection. It looks like a mirror in a fun house. Your nose gets really big. See? Oh, yeah, I say. She's right. I am one giant nose face with tiny eyes way up high. I crack a smile and see giant horse teeth in Zoe's ring. It's too funny. I dropped my ridiculous face into my hands. Made you laugh, Zoe said triumphantly. Zoe says I never laugh. I say I'm just quiet about it. 4 boys come to sit at our table, including the loud, tall, hungry one. I shift over and slide my tray back in front of me like I'm making more room. But I'm stuffed into the wall already. They're talking about what team everyone's on and which school they came from. There's someone whispering and they keep looking at me. Then up comes Brian Morris to sit with them. He knows where I live. He's probably told. Hey, said the tall boy, how about tomorrow you take your assistance card to the back of the line, Blue River boy? Yep, Brian told him. I wonder what else he said because he makes stuff up. He told the whole 4th grade that I sleep in a cell with no mattress and that I only get white bread and water for supper. The boys are staring. Joey's jaw is set off center. She doesn't like it when people are into my business. She looks at me. She jabs her straw onto the table and pushes the wrapper down to a tight accordion. She slides the paper across the table right in front of Brian Morris. She uses her straw to wet it with a dot of milk. It grows. She looks up to Brian and says, worm. All right. Let's see, we read chapters 5, 6, and 7. No, we read chapters 4, 5, and 6. Sorry. 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, because they're really short chapters.